Now, last but not the least, I would like to show some of the very nice improvements and enhancements to our simulation that have been made in our 2017 release. Now, in order to go over this, I'm going to load in one of the parts we looked at earlier, and we'll go through the simulation enhancements. Now, under the Simulate tab, in the simulation preferences, now the preferences can be invoked either from the CAM preferences or from the Simulate tab. We now have the option to display silhouette and sharp edges during simulation. Now we can select these, and you'll notice that the edges are now being displayed. You can, if you toggle the stock visibility on, even in the shaded mode or in the translucent display mode, you can see the edges being displayed around the stock. And as you simulate machining operations, you can see these being displayed as well. So the silhouette and sharp edge display option can be toggled on or toggled off in our 2017 product. And this is available to all users starting with standard configuration. Now, this is one of the many improvements in simulation. We could also assign colors for each operation that you're simulating. Now, the colors can be set either to a tool. You can assign a color as you define tool. You can go into your tool properties and establish a color for cut material simulation, or you can assign a color to a machining operation, or just apply the texture that you enable. So in this particular example, I'm going to choose assign color based on the machining operation, and you could select the machining operation, right click and go down to properties, and you can choose a simulation color for each operation. And selecting the operation and simulating it, you'll notice it will apply colors during simulation based on what colors you set for each operation. Now, we also have an option to not display the remnants during simulation, so to exclude the remnants, and this option can be toggled on by selecting remove remnants during simulation under the simulation preferences. And as you simulate the machining operation, you'll notice that the remnants are now being dropped once the simulation is performed for the operation. Now, these are some of the numerous simulation enhancements that have gone into our 2017 release. And for those of you who are running Expert, Pro, or Premium configurations, you could also toggle on machine tool simulation. So the machine tool simulation can be found under machine tool definition. As you go over to the load from file option, you'll see that there have been several newer machine tools that have been added to the list, and there have been several improvements and enhancements to machine tool simulation. So for this particular part, I'm going to choose a CNC router, a 3-axis router, as my machine tool, and you'll notice that the machine tool appears as you toggle the machine tool visibility on, and selecting the operation and running a simulation performs it with the machine tool. So the machine tool simulation is available for 3, 4, and 5-axis simulations. I'm also going to give you a quick example of a machine tool simulation for 4-axis.
Today, one of the attendees had a question about PEC drilling simulation. Do you want to show that?
Absolutely, we'll do that, Joe. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this in here. I will switch back to the standard drill, and I'm going to go over to the drill type in here, change the drill type from standard to a deep drill, and I'll set my step increment, which is the PEC increment, right in here, and then generate the toolpath. And I'm going to go perform a verification, and you'll now notice that the PEC drilling and the brake chip, the PEC cycles, so the PEC motions are being simulated with our 2017 release. So as you see, the remnants are being removed during the simulation process. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-axis machine tool simulation. So going back to this part where we programmed the drive surface machining toolpath, we'll go to our machine tool definition, and we can select load from file, and we could pick any machine tool from the list here. I'm just going to go grab one of these machine tools. And you have the option either to display the machine tool housing, or you could toggle it off right in here if you do not want it to display. And go over to the Simulate tab, and selecting Play performs your 4-axis simulation with the machine tool. And you could always toggle the display of the machine tool housing back on by going over to the machine tool properties and continue along with the simulation.